Forever. Dog.
When your first choice is a big old bus,
You turn around and boom, you end up with a sloppy seconds. Oh, diva. Our number is 213-536-9180.
That
Our
felt
email-
like, hold on. That felt like, remember back in the day when you used to fly on airplanes?
Yeah, I missed that.
And you're like going along and then all of a sudden they floor it on the runway to take off. It's like you're like cruising.
And
then all of a sudden they're like,
zing!
zing!
Yeah. Is
That's
that how
how
that sounded to you?
You singing the phone number sounded to me.
I hope people keep calling. Actually, we have a lot of phone calls I'm very excited to get to today.
I interrupted your intro. I'm sorry.
Hi, you sloppy, stupid little flex, you nasty little flex. Our email is at sloppysecondspod@gmail.com. Now on with the show.
Why are you being weird?
That's because you know what? It's because it's a Sunday at 6 p.m., baby. And these episodes do whatever they want. I was on a wonderful podcast last evening.
Oh, yeah.
With Tim Murray, where we were supposed to just discuss Wicked. And then I, of course, I realized I just do whatever I want. I realize I am not good on other people's podcasts because I will just derail every comment. I think it's my ADD because he would ask me a question and I would talk about 10 million things. I would end up talking about Amanda Bynes somehow and then be like, oh yes, I do think Ariana would be a good Elphaba, but I think she would be a better Glinda.
Glinda.
Well, no, Glinda. I mean, she changes it at the end. I mean, anyway, so go listen to Slumber Party with Tim Murray. Our episode is wild.
And were you in drag? Because didn't he film it for...
Drag.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that I think you derail podcasts because you're a big fan of T.I. and you really like that song, You Could Do Whatever You Like.
Yeah. I see. Now that is a song reference that I do understand.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Now, before we started this, we were just talking about how wonderful it is to see that we're on so many people's top played podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
That is shocking to me, especially the one person out there who listened to 7 episodes in one day, and to the person that listened to 8,000 minutes of us in a day. I don't know the math on that. Seek help.
BetterHelp.com/sloppy. I feel
there's not even 8,000 minutes in a day. What am I talking about?
Honestly, when I was sometimes at the end of a day, if I've been on a number of Zoom calls or we've had to record a podcast or I've interacted with a lot of people and sort of heard my voice all day, I look in the mirror and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. And so the fact that people binge listen to us all day is sort of it's sort of invigorating. It's like, oh, okay, we're doing a show over here that people enjoy. I love that.
Yeah, it's shocking to see who else was on the other list too. Is really funny.
Well, and yeah, because
you're all fucking fags. Okay, you're all gay.
No, because the list that we're on are either shows I'm producing, shows that your best friends hosts, or shows that we've all guested on. It's okay, we're just sort of on a loop in each other's brains.
That's like that thing that someone said about digital drag when they were like, all right, who's doing another show so we can pass the same $5 back and forth.
I just did that with Matt Barracuda the other night because this past weekend on Saturday night I judged a bulge contest at the Barracuda parties.
Yeah, it's not 2 people jerking off, one of them wearing your merch.
I got on the Zoom call and I start looking through, and when you first look through it says 4 pages, and then I was show everybody, and it was 16 pages I had to tab through of people. And, God. A small percentage of them have their videos on, and then a bunch of other people are just lurking. And so, I was you know what? I'm going to turn my video on, but I'm just going to lurk. And I was just, clicking through, and then all of a sudden I was oh, those guys they're sitting on the couch jerking off. Oh, that guy's wearing my Chunkita shirt. Okay, very nice.
An iconic shirt.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. It was really fun. The guy who, one of the guys who won the bulge contest, he pulled his full dick out and then proceeded to suck on it himself, and he got about 4 inches down on the dick.
How was he seated? Was he seated?
He was
or
in
was
an
he
office
laying
chair.
on his back on an office chair?
He was like in an office chair with the camera like right in front of his crotch. He was doing the good old Lee Dawson, slapping your cock on your hand. He was doing that the whole time. I've never seen Lee do that. I just imagine him do
no,
it. No,
he doesn't do that on his OnlyFans.
Oh, you've seen?
He barely even jerks off.
Oh, she does the research.
Listen, here's what I will say. If you are a friend of mine and you have an OnlyFans, I have at least paid for 1 month of it. I like to support artists, and I also
like to lurk. Like
I just like to see what everyone sticks up to.
I just want to see what the dick's doing.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
this
this person was like slapping his dick and waving it around and doing all these things, and then when we like spotlit him for the bulge contest, he just bent over and he started tonguing and sucking, and I was like, you. And then he got far down on. I mean, I feel confident in saying it was like 11 or 12 inches of dick. It was so much dick.
That's too much dick.
Slow exhale.
Ooh,
Wait, so did you enjoy yourself on my Growler live stream?
I had a wonderful time.
Wasn't it fun?
Growler. It was really fun because it was just us doing this, but like interacting with people directly, which we don't often do.
Right, and the cool thing about they updated Growler, and there's
I was shocked at how like new and more I don't know, intuitive it is.
Well,
it
it's also
a real jumpy app.
Yeah. But it's also on the live chat, which was like their big thing, which is why I'm doing these live streams, is we're like promoting the live
I will be doing
function.
one on December 24th.
Oh, so you're welcome for the job.
I got a job now. Thank you so much.
I said I want to audition you over here, then I'm going to give you your own job. So everyone can find Meatball on Grounder and ask her if she is a pussy.
Yes, please do.
Tell
Answer
me about
will still be no.
Tell me about your pussy.
Let me know about your pussy.
So,
Candy Muse. There seems to be a new catchphrase on the block from Candy Muse, and it's purr, purr,
Purrrr.
purr.
When did
That's
she do
purr.
that? We did that last week.
That's purr. I know we've been doing it for a while, but Candy Muse has now done it in so many of her Instagram lives and Instagram stories that she's really trying to make it a thing. So look out for new merch.
Doesn't she have a lisp? So
I don't know.
Also be
I don't
like,
know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about. I'm not here to talk about our.
That's
list.
an R and a TH sound. I'm spitting so much in my
Listen.
mic.
Okay. So that's all for Candy Muse news.
Okay, and what I was gonna say about Growler is now on there you like you like put some money in your like through your iTunes account or whatever, your App Store account, and then you can give these little gifts. And so while Meatball and I were talking, all these like cartoon animals started popping up, and the deal is you like they have versus battles, so like you and I could do a versus on live, and whoever gets more gifts while we're talking in a 2-minute period wins the versus battle. And then you have like stats. You have stats on Growler now when it comes to live. So it's like how many likes, how many views, how many diamonds, how many gifts, how many verses you've won. There's like a whole thing. And people are so into it. It's really cool. I mean, I feel like it's thriving more than it's ever gonna thrive or would have thrived. How do you say thrive in the past? Thriven. Yes. It's thriving now. It's thriving more now than it would have ever thriven in the past.
Thriven sounds like a name that a white mom would give their baby. Like Thriven, come here. Thriven,
because everyone's at home is the end of my sentence. Thriven Constable the Third.
When you said versus, it reminded me of two things. One, when Wendy Williams called it Verzeus.
Verzeus, love Verzeus.
And then two, would you be the Monica or the Brandy if we had a versus?
In reality, I would be the Brandy because I don't know that I would I would sort of just like let whatever happen. But I want to be the Monica.
I want to be the Monica. Monica punched Brandy backstage, and then they went on national TV and sang "The Boy Is Mine." Like, her face was fresh from a punch.
And what's amazing about it is that, like, the punch happens. Meanwhile, there's a classical harp solo happening on stage. Dooba 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 doo. You know how the song starts? The Boy Is Mine. It's a harp.
Oh.
It's like a harp.
Yeah, you know how many terrible drag queens I've seen try to do The Boy Is Mine without any rehearsal? They're just like, I'm Monica, you're Brandy, let's do it. Like, the tips are still hot tonight, baby, let's get out there.
Well, and it's also very much like, yeah, I'm sure we know the words. And everyone goes like, excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? And then no one knows anything else. Excuse me, can I talk to you?
Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second?
All right, let's take a quick break.
Yes, let's take a break.
Right back. It's that time again.
BetterHelp connects you with professional counseling securely over the internet. They will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, honey.
That's right. Professional counseling done securely online, which is very cool in this day and age, and you can start communicating in under 48 hours.
Plus, there is a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas.
That's right, and you can access it online. Just log into your account anytime. You can send a message, you can set up video calls, phone calls, and be in constant communication with your therapist.
Yes, and you can do it all from home, so you don't have to go sit in a germ-filled waiting room to speak to your traditional therapist.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change your counselors if needed.
So check out BetterHelp, that's better H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
I am one of the 1 million. Sloppy Seconds listeners get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/sloppy.
That's betterhelp.com/sloppy for 10% off your first month.
Yeah, go check it out. betterhelp.com/sloppy.
That was fun.
Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second?
About BetterHelp?
No, I want to talk to you about this podcast. God, what were we talking about right before Brandy and Monica? Oh, the Wendy Williams biopic. Are you excited to what?
I'm literally so excited when I saw that. Also, I'm a little bit upset because a Lifetime movie, they'll take liberties with the story.
Yeah, but she is the executive producer.
But she's the executive producer, so we're not even going to get the other side of the story. We're not going to hear about. I mean, I know they talk about how she's addicted to cocaine in it or whatever, and that's why she passed out while she was in the Statue of Liberty costume, which I have another question about. Why wouldn't they just get the costume that she actually wore? Why would they recreate it? Wendy's here. Let's just go into her closet.
Girl, it probably had cocaine sweats all over it.
But I mean, this is
not going
to be
this is why
the Crown
she sold
level
it on
of
eBay. She sold it on eBay moments after it happened. Probably made $50,000.
Or she just returned it to the costume house that she rented
Spirit
the
Halloween
costume
store.
house in LA. Can you be less difficult to work with, please?
Oh, okay.
And that's all I have to say about that.
And that's all I've got to say on that. Hey, so do you remember or do you know who Sola is from previously from the Bon Appetit test kitchen?
Yes, and now she's on Binging with Babish.
Can you tell me what Binging with Babish is? Because literally in the last 24-hour period, I've watched many episodes of her new show.
Are you just now getting into Binging with Babish?
Well, I never know what that is, but I started watching Sola videos.
Because she's the most interesting person in the world.
With the Bon Appetit whole scenario. And then I was then I wanted to see what she was up to now. And then I was like, oh, she's on this YouTube channel. And I'll say this and then I'll let you explain. It's interesting because this ties into so many things that you and I talk about.
She hates that guy.
or mostly, well, I feel like she hates that guy, and I feel like next to her, everyone is like, I hate that guy. Just let this be the solo show. Like, why does she have to like check in with the white man at the end to be like, do you like the food I made? That feels like a little...
Well, that's kind of what was happening at the Bon Appetit ones, too. They would always be like, let's check in. But she was also getting really taken advantage of over at Bon Appetit. Like, well,
so this is the whole thing, is that Bon Appetit is a Condé Nast. It's a high-profile magazine from a big company. So you're...
So, you know, it takes at least a month to get your check from them.
But also, like, the clout of, like, yes, I work in the test kitchen there, regardless of what you're getting paid, versus, girl, she's got to do the ads like we have to do. Like, as an independent production, you work directly with the sponsors. They're not running like, she's doing the ads at the top of her video. I bet you she makes so much more money on this new YouTube channel with her own show. And so I just find that fascinating, because it feels like, oh, if you're co-signed by a larger company, like, the success is bigger and the checks are bigger, but in actuality, if you do it for yourself. So anyways, tell me about binging with Bebby.
No, but what I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head, was that she was working over at Condé Nast. She was supposed to be getting all this money. Some of the other chefs, the white chefs there, were getting $10,000 an episode, and she was getting like pennies. And it just kind of played into the whole...
Well, I remember that whole scandal, and there was nuance to it, in that, like, these other people started the channel and, like, they built all this stuff. But what the problem is the moment she started clearly being a breakout star, they didn't compensate her as such. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's like, it's total. I think, here's what I think. It's totally fine to have a little bit of income disparity in an organization where some people are more established or bring in bigger audiences. But when other people then grow or adjust or change, the money has to change too. You can't keep someone at $300 when another person's making $10,000. Yeah. That's insane.
And Babish got his start because he just started making YouTube videos that were kind of ASMR-y. No face, it was just his chest and, like, the food. And he would make meals from movies and TV shows.
And he now has what? All those kitchens and stuff?
He has like a whole workshop. He has a whole workshop and studio in Brooklyn, I'm assuming. But he started just in his home kitchen, and then he, like, had a kitchen and a house that he was sharing with it. Anyway, he has a full studio now. So he's making tons of money. I mean, he gets millions of views. And if we've learned anything from our Lord and Savior, Trisha Paytas, it's that you don't really need that many views. You just need to keep making content.
And they need to be long.
And
that's
the other thing. Over 30 minutes.
YouTube content, you got to do long vids all the time. You got to publish very regularly.
Because it's less about how many views you get. You can get 100,000, and that's a lot of views, but not for like a 1 million subscriber YouTuber. As long as they get like 30,000 views on every video, they're fine.
And because it's about sustained watch time.
And Trisha will sit there and eat in her car, and people will watch to the end.
The crazy thing about Trisha, and I have done this because of you.
Let's not talk about.
So why not?
No, let's do it. I love it.
I'm into it now. So I guess to put a button on, I bet with Sola, I bet that he reached out to her and was like, I want to give you my own show. We're going to leverage my audience, which his audience is bigger than Bon Appetit's YouTube channel. Yes. And I'll just give you like ownership over it, or we'll do the ad.
But he didn't give her any ownership, and that's the one thing I don't like, is that why can't she just have her own show on his channel?
I think in his mind, he's like, I built this and people are here for me, so I'll be here for the start and finish. I bet you in 6 months he won't even appear on her videos, or he'll force his way in because he knows that she's
and that's what it feels more like, is like she's always, if you watch one of these videos, you can see that she's kind of annoyed with him.
I think the same thing.
I feel that tension, and I don't say anything, but I'm like,
You don't say anything to who? To her and him?
To her. I haven't sent a message, but I will one day. Well, it was the same with what was that podcast I used to love? My Favorite Murder. I could tell that those two girls hated, like, despised each other. Apparently, they're fine now, but there was times where, like, I was like, these two bitches hate each other, and then in a later podcast, they were like, so we went to therapy together, and I was like. if me and Dibber had a podcast and we were fighting so much that we had to go to therapy together, that podcast would not exist anymore.
Yeah, you would be done. I would hold on to it forever.
It's over.
You would be done.
You would just replace me.
But I will say this, and then we're gonna get into some voicemails. But I will say, the Trisha Paytas, I used to be like, what the hell is going on? Then I used to be really interested and I would look at it. And then lastly, the most recent thing is like, I'm Team Trish now. I'm like watching the videos and I'm like, yes, drink your celery juice every day. I hope your skin clears up. Yes, do your emo band. Shout out to you having a Jewish boyfriend. And yes, you bought your home. Good for you. Like, but she, I think, is like has a personality disorder, right?
I don't want to diagnose anybody, but there's some sort of
so
issues.
You don't want to diagnose anybody?
She got something going on. She has attachment issues. She has issues with men. She has something going on.
I guess the thing that I really admire about a person like her, but it's also something that I find challenging. And I would love
about me.
Listen, I would love to have her on the show and have this conversation.
Oh, for
she
sure.
would never come on our podcast because we're so small time compared to what she does.
Yeah, she's literally.
But I would love to have this conversation, which is like, she says things with such certainty that completely change within an hour, 24 hours, a year. Like, I feel like she can be like, the thing that I do is this. And then be like, yeah, I used to think that I did that, but now I do that. And in day-to-day life and actually interacting with people, I find that very frustrating because you never quite know what's going on. But as a viewer of her, I'm obsessed with the fact that she's like, I only ever wear Chanel purses. And then 2 weeks later, she's
Here's
like,
my Louis Vuitton haul.
Louis Vuitton makes the best bags that exist. And you're like, wait, you literally
but
made a video.
I think that that's a learned thing for her, that she speaks in definites, that she and it's always excessive because that's how she's gotten views on YouTube. And I don't think I probably don't think she's like that in real life.
She seems like very chill in real life.
Yeah, but I think that she knows that she is an internet troll. She has to say certain things and do certain things to keep up the money train.
This is my favorite. My favorite thing is she eats on YouTube. The videos feel mostly unedited. They're slightly edited. She eats on YouTube, and every time she starts a new video, she goes, "Hi guys, as you know, I always take my first bite on TikTok." So
yes, she's like, "I got this." She'll open it and a bite's missing. She's like, I take my first bite on TikTok, so go over to TikTok. Like, she integrates. She always talks when she's on her podcast. She talks about her YouTube and her TikTok, and when she's on TikTok, like, she forces you to watch it all, and I will consume it all. We cannot let this become a Trisha Paytas Stan podcast, though. It's all we've talked about for 3 weeks.
I'm okay. We can ask my friend Donnell told me today. He's an avid listener. He said, "Oh, I got to send you something." I was like, "What?" He was like, I have a list of notes about the show." So he's going to send an email with, he says, "I have comments about the Stairs episode. I've got something to say about this. I've got something to say about that." And he was like, "I even included a little fuck talk story at the end." So we're going to get some feedback from one of my
Here's what
friends.
I don't like about fearless feedback. It's that a lot of us, when listening back to the episodes, don't like our behavior in the moment. But I live moment to moment.
A lot of us? And
I know it's just, I'm speaking for myself and Trisha Paytas. No, what I will say is that I speak in definites. I have said a lot of things on this podcast I do regret, much like Trisha Paytas, but I will not apologize.
Well, let's take a quick break so you can make amends, and we will be back with some fuck talk letter.
Vistaprint, you tried to screw me. How was that? Did you hear that? See, you bottomed out in the mic. Is that something that they say? I don't know the terminology.
Bottomed out, and you're holding.
I'm not Jinx.
Did you see Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, and
Jennifer Hudson?
Jennifer Hudson sing that song together, and Jennifer Hudson did not know her words.
What was that about, and why wasn't there a second take?
It seemed so easy, and they did it. It was a close-up on her when she sort of didn't quite pick up the lip sync. It felt
Yeah,
shady
I was
to
just
me.
kind of like, it felt shady, and it was like, what, you brought her here so that she wouldn't do the whistle tone?
Girl, on the audio, if you just listen to the track, it is a bippity boppity.
Well, no, of course it
bop.
is, and everyone knows that it is a lip sync. Like, they're not singing live, so why would they do that?
Why would they do that to her? Jennifer Hudson, a national treasure. All right, we've got a voicemail.
A voicemail. I sang so much Broadway. I went downtown today, which may I suggest not going to the fashion district. And I just sang Broadway songs in my car the whole way on the highway. And then I forgot when I got into downtown that, like, my singing voice when I'm full blast is bigger than the car. Like, it reaches the sidewalk. And I was just down there screaming, belting, like, wrong notes, just living my fantasy. And these two people looked into my car while I was literally screaming Diva's Lament from the Monty Python musical. And they were like, oh, it was very embarrassing. Anyway, continue.
What is the Monty Python musical called? Shipwrecked? No.
Holy Grail.
Lancelot?
Something about the Grail. Because I was singing Find Your Grail, and then I was also singing, it's about Lancelot.
Because Clay Aiken was in that.
Someone told me to everybody just go look at Clay Aiken's Instagram.
I'm
not going to say anything else, but just go look at it and there's a lot going on there. There's a lot
If
to
I
piece
ever
together.
get to host a legit ass talk show, I don't know if people notice this, but I often mispronounce words, but on purpose. And I do little things like, it's been funny to me since I was 12 to say pacifically instead of specifically.
Yeah.
And like when I call you meatballs and add a little S on it.
Well, you give it a little sauce.
Yeah. But I feel like if I ever got a talk show, I would just love to be like, Reese's Witherspoon is here, and like act like it didn't happen, but just always say someone's name slightly wrong.
I think you would be great on like an Eric Andre style thing where you just get to like go ham.
Shaquille
O'Neal's. We could co-host that together.
Oh yeah. So if you like to develop talk shows, Sloppy Seconds, the live action television talk show.
Live action, baby.
It would be us walking around. Maybe we could book Sola to teach us how to cook.
Maybe we could book Nina West to show us how to suck a toe right.
Whoop! Whoop whoop!
Ooh,
So this voicemail is entitled "Our Advice Worked." Let's listen.
I can't hear it. Oh, I can't hear it. Oh, no.
Hey, this is Lucas again. I'm just coming back to report success from what you guys had told me earlier. Or maybe not. I'm not sure.
Wait, did we already do this one?
No. Who's Lucas?
He, on an earlier podcast, had called in about something, and then we gave
obviously.
advice.
But what was the thing?
I don't know. I've pulled these from months ago. I titled them...
Oh, God.
Y'all, they bought me a nice mic, and I am doing my best to destroy it. No,
did it fall into liquid?
No, but it was this close. I don't know. I don't remember. Our advice.
All right, let's hear what he's going to say.
At quarantine hole, where it just, I was very nervous about taking any dicks. So what I did was I just went with smaller dicks this time, and bloop, right in, perfect. Did not have to use any sort of training. But I can work my way up by finding men with gradually larger sizes. All right, thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, he was the one who was asking because quarantine had started. His dick or his hole was tight.
His hole was going to close up.
And
like
we
after
eventually
you get your ears pierced at Claire's.
Yeah, baby. Ooh, I knew girls that got their nose pierced at Claire's and I got infected. Now, what we told him to do was to start with something small and work his way up, and he did, and he loves it. And I also love an equal opportunity booty hole.
Equal opportunity
Booty
hole. Okay, well, this next one is titled "People Think We're Fighting."
People do think that we fight.
Let's listen here.
Hey, you big sloppy dirty fucks. It's me again.
Okay, let's stop. She came in hot.
So hot. Now I understand what our guests feel like when
Right. Also, you hear they said it's me again. So I'm curious how many voicemails they've left. Let's go back in.
I'm just calling to let you know that I heard on your recent podcast that there's maybe a demographic of people who really appreciate Meatball and
Yes.
don't like Big Dipper.
Yes.
And I just want to say that I thoroughly enjoy both of you.
Oh,
Keep
okay.
doing what the fuck you're doing. Keep being sloppy. Keep gently arguing on the podcast. And keep doing it together. Because I fucking love you. Don't let anybody bring you down, and you're fabulous. Well, bye.
Okay, motivational speaking.
I think we needed that today. Now, here's the thing: is I've come across some comments on a Reddit and some stuff that people think that we don't like each other.
No, that's not true. We're actually learning. I feel like we're liking each other more and more as this, because we were just
I
talking about this.
appreciate you more every time that
We're becoming we're coming up on our 100th episode of Sloppy Seconds, which is so wild to think about. And I think like I like doing it more and more, and I look forward to the things we will be able to do once enough people take the vaccine. Like the idea of doing a live show with you.
And today is our 1 year anniversary of our first live show on our first Sloppy Seconds live show.
Really?
Well, I guess not, because that would have been Thanksgiving. Or was it Christmas? When we were at the Lyric Hyperion?
That was like...
Well, someone posted a thing saying it was 1 year on Instagram.
1 year?
You know we're 3 months away from being in a 1 year of this quarantine? Anyway, next call. See, that call really brought us up, and then I said, nope, too good. Feeling too good. Let me drag us all the way down.
Okay, this will be our last one today. Here we go.
Here we go.
Hey guys, this one's a story and also, I guess, a question. I one time went to hook up with this guy when I was younger, and everything seemed normal. We met on an app, and then when I got to his house, it seemed like he probably was deaf or hearing impaired, because he would only communicate with me via text message or like app message when I was at his house. And to the moment, he has never told me that he was hearing impaired or deaf, and has never spoken out loud to me, but he definitely made some sounds that felt very hearing impaired. So I guess my question, it was kind of awkward and it felt super weird when I was there. Sex was great, everything was great, I guess. But my question for you guys is, like, do you think he should have said something? Is that something you should disclose? I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys. The show is great. Thanks so much for doing what you do. Have a good day. See you later.
Well, what do you think about this? Because my answer is like, go ahead.
What do you think about this? Because didn't you blow a guy at a pool who is deaf, and then you didn't know he was deaf until later?
Yes. But
how did you? But
we were cruising each other, and we didn't.
That's
talk.
different from a premeditated.
It's also different from you're at their house and they're messaging you rather than
Here's
talking
the thing
to you. So literally, why didn't you go? Wait, why aren't you speaking?
Why
to
aren't
me?
you talking to me?
Are you deaf?
But also, I mean, I'm not trying to blame the deaf person if they're deaf, but like, just do what every Lyft or Uber does, and it's like, hey, I'm deaf, so you're gonna need to message me. Like, I just.
So part of me thinks that, not to be shady, but part of me thinks that the person who called in, like, didn't read it on their profile. Like, part of me thinks it's just like on the profile is like, my name's Damien, I'm 26, I am hearing impaired, like, let's fuck,
But don't you think
here's
the
my
person
dick.
on the call would have said, like, and then I went back to our whatever app we were on.
Girl, I don't know, but whoever just called in, all you need to do is say, why are you texting me instead of talking? Are you deaf or hearing impaired?
Or I would have been like, is there someone else in the room that you don't, in the house that you don't want us to know?
Right.
So,
yeah, it's interesting, but I just feel like if you have a question, ask the question.
All right, well, those were the 3 calls I pulled. I can pull one more.
No,
those
that's
are
great.
all short.
No, this is great. I wanted to talk to you about
Fist Giving, which you can buy at sloppysecondstickets.com. That's sloppy seconds tickets.com.
Tickwa. Yeah, that's right. And we have some great guests to end out our 2020 with, plus a fun surprise on our 100th episode, and some other things are happening this week and next week. So, just stay tuned, divas. And if you're on Growler, you should check me out tonight. I'm doing another stream. I'm doing them every Tuesday. Yeah.
And they're fun. They're fun. I had a good time. It's very much, I like the interface of it. And it was more of a show and you're talking and there's like a community of people. It's not like everyone's on there looking for dick. Although some of them are. And that's lovely.
Everybody's looking for dick somewhere.
We didn't remember when we made that guy change his name because it was like Mask Hung 8 and then he changed it to Ginger Hung 8.
Yes.
Because we were like, no more mask.
Wait, and then I saw him on live with someone else, and I took a screenshot of him talking with that other person because he looked so different. Maybe I don't have it.
Did he open his pics for me?
He opened his pics for me, girl.
Well, hold him up to the screen.
No, he has since closed them. Oh, this is what I wanted to show.
He has since closed them.
He opened them and then and then I looked at them and I was like, okay, I see why you're called Hung 8. And then he closed them and he wrote, oops, sorry. And then he changed his name. I want you to look at this video.
He deleted his account.
Girl. Well, did you look up his new name, Ginge Hung 8?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, look that up. Who is that?
That was that was Monique
laughing at you. Okay.
Yes.
Thoughts on this video?
Oh my god. Okay, so what I am seeing is I think a former podcast guest.
Yes.
Christopher Weston, that's his
yes.
name. He's got some long things attached to his nipples.
They're surgical clamps.
Oh, surgical clamps on his nipples, and he is jumping up and down. He has something in his mouth, and there is I don't know what is in his mouth. Is that poppers? What's in his mouth?
It looks like
he's chewing on something, and his penis is in a black plastic penis cage. And he's jumping up and down with 4 surgical clamps on his nipples.
Girl, this might be OnlyFans content. He texted me. I'm going on his podcast.
He texted you?
Well, he does this podcast with his pup called What's the Safe Word?
Yes, What's the Safe Word?
And I think I'm going on their show soon. And he was like, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I want to talk about nipples. And then he sent me that video.
Are you into nipples now?
No, I just want to grow my nipples.
Don't you have to get those little suction thingies?
You know how I want them to look. I want to look like those dads.
Do you?
Not in an insane way, but just in a way where they're a noticeable feature of my titties.
So how do you go about doing that? You just got to do the suction thing?
That's what I said I wanted to talk to him about. I need some guidance. But I think you have to play with them, which is tricky for me because they don't really do much for me. So
maybe you got to ice them down first.
Aesthetically, I want the look, but it's not, I think if I touch them and I was like, oh, that feels good. Sorry, this is getting really intense. If I touched them and I was like, oh, that feels good, I would keep going. Yeah. But right now they don't really do anything, but I want them to be more of a prominent feature. So I think I have to do some suction cups, and then I gotta get one of those pumps that's like now I get the hiccups.
Oh my goodness. I heard that mic is good. Was that from the network?
Do you want to take us out on a high note?
Thanks for listening to this episode of Sloppy Seconds with Big Dipper and Meatball. I'm Big Dipper. That's Meatball. You can find us on Instagram at Big Dipper Jelly and Spiciest Meatball. I'm on Twitter as Fat Drag Meatball. Our number is 213-536-9180. And you can send us an email, sloppysecondspod@gmail.com now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Forever don't. Doodle-a-doo-doo. Forever dog. To listen to Sloppy Seconds ad-free, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcast.com/plus.
Sloppy Seconds is produced by Forever Dog and Moguls of Media.
Mom! Hosted by Big Dipper and Meatball. Mixed and mastered by William Pitts.
Executive produced by Willem Belli, Alaska Thunderfuck, Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey.
Our artwork is drawn by Christian Cimarroni.
And our theme song was written by Mike Malarkey.